audio training webinar. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Mark Arajan with 21st Century Distributing, and we are excited to have Casas here from Juke Audio to train us on their simple to set up, simple to deploy, distribute audio amplifiers. This is going to be a quick 30 minutes, and we will be raffling off one of their amplifiers for the attendee that asked the best question. So just, if you have any questions, go ahead and type it in to the chat box below, and you'll be entered to or qualified to win. As always, this webinar is being recorded, so it will be available for you or one of your employees or teammates to review on our virtual conference center on our website after the fact. So without further ado, Casas, I really appreciate it. This is a line that we just, I believe, picked up a couple weeks ago. We have it in stock at all of our locations. Only a few SKUs that you guys need to know about, but you'll see right after this presentation how quick and easy it is to set up and deploy. So Casas, thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be partnered up with you guys again. A lot of you already know me. I've been in this industry forever. 21st Century was one of my best partners with Sonos. So if you know my background, I'm the guy who launched the Sonos business way back in 2004. And, 21st Century was one of my best partners. So this is why I reached out to you guys, wanting to partner with you again. So quick background, I was even before Sonos, I own and ran a custom install company, so I know this industry like the back of my hand. It's the only industry I've been in my whole career. I met the Sonos guys. I launched their business. I was there for about 13 years. I did a couple of other startups. And then fast forward, the Juke guys reached out to me a couple of years ago. They're not from this industry. They're from outside the industry, software guys. I looked at the product and I said, there's an opportunity here. So long story short, I hopped on board and they hired me to launch the channel. So Juke's been around. The good thing is that you should know is Juke's been around for 4 or 5 years. So it's not a brand new product. But I will say we're brand new to the industry because that's the reason they brought me to bring, Juke to the industry. So, let me just jump right into the presentation. And then I'll take the questions at the end, and we have half an hour, but I can stay as long as you guys want.
Yeah, if you have any questions, type them in and we'll get them answered for you. Yeah, Casas, just go through the presentation, we'll get the questions at the end.
Perfect. All right, you can see that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. All right. It all starts with our tagline, "Sound Made Simple." The whole design of Juke, from the product to how the customer uses it, it's all based around simplicity, right? We want to make it easy for your customers to learn to listen to music throughout their house. So it is. It's a multi-room music system, right? I think that's obvious, and it is a truly multi-source, multi-room system. So I don't think this one is obvious because the Juke is so inexpensive. It's not assumed that it can do what it can do. It's very sophisticated, especially for the price. So anyways, you guys know what this means. Multi-source means you can have, depending on which product you buy, you can have up to 8 different songs playing in 8 different rooms in the same house, or you can have one room playing everywhere for your big party, or any combination, which is the more common scenario. 3 or 4 or 5 family members that are each listening to music throughout in their own rooms. And then this is part of the simplicity as well. The Juke is designed for your customers to use the app and device that they already know and love. So if we think of where we are, here we are, 2024, the consumer's app fatigued, right? Every time you buy a system, you're asked to download a new app, learn a new app. And when it comes to music, if you have if your dealers have customers who are ready to do a multi-room music system in their home, that means they love music, or else why would they do it? If they already love music, they already have their favorite way to listen to music. It's usually, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, whatever. So based on that, Juke was designed for your customer to use that same app and that same service that they already know. So you'll see that theme throughout, the simplicity. And, it was designed like that on purpose. As far as form factor, again, simple. It's one box. We have 3 SKUs, which I'll show you in the end. But in all 3 cases, everything you need is in one box except for your speakers, right? You just, wire your speakers to one home run location and plug it in, and you're done. And I will note that most other manufacturers are going the DIY route. Everyone's trying to grab the DIY market. Juke Audio is the exact opposite. This thing was made to be installed because it's 99% of our installs have in-ceiling speakers or in-wall or some sort of architectural speaker. So it really brings the dealer back in. So when I tell that story to the dealer, they like it because all the other brands are going the other way. So we're bringing the professional installer back in. Again, one box, depending on the SKU, will power all your rooms and support all your users. Right? Again, it's a very simple concept, and it may sound like I'm repeating myself, but it's simple to use, it's simple to set up, it's simple to design, etc. As far as the technology that Juke uses for iOS, right, which is Apple, as you guys know, if it's an iPhone or iPad, we use AirPlay 2. At that point, anything that's on your phone, you can stream, right? So, obviously Apple Music, but in all the streaming services. But even if you have, your customer wants to send a video of the kids to their grandmother, anything that is on your phone can stream. We also do Bluetooth for all devices. More of a backup if you, for whatever reason, you want to use it as a Bluetooth system. And for Android users, we do Spotify natively. So, that applies to Apple Android, but most Android users use Spotify. So that's the way that an Android user will use it. And then we do DLNA for high-res audio. And then right now I'm talking about what's current and available now, but in the end, I'll talk about some other things that are coming. As far as wired inputs, you can plug in a traditional, audio source, TV is most common, but even if it's a CD or, microphone mixer setup, it can do that as well. Full wireless control. There is no need for in-wall keypads, in-wall volume controls, touch screens. Even if you look on our product, there's no buttons. It's just power on off. So it's designed to just use from your phone. What I'm showing you right now is our app. Now this is really a setup app or a configuration app. So this is the app that your dealer will use to set up the system. And this is where they'll go in and name the rooms, family room, kitchen, living room, etc. If your customer doesn't want to, they never have to go back to this. So that your dealer will give the app to the customer as well in case they want to change something. But what's very common with Juke installs, the customers never have to look at this again because once the dealer sets it up, they're just using their Apple Music or their Spotify or Pandora, or whatever their favorite streaming service is. So then I'll take it right to the streaming service that I've been talking about. Here's an example of what you'll see if you're using Apple Music. Again, your customer already knows how to use this if this is their personal favorite. And just imagine your customer can be, or your dealer's customer can be out for a jog listening to Bob Marley on their headphones. They come home, if they just hit that little icon on the bottom, which is the AirPlay 2 icon, now the rooms that are available will drop down. So where it says bedroom, suite, kitchen, living room, those are the Juke rooms, but your dealer went and renamed them. So to the customer, it's seamless. And there's literally nothing to learn. And the dealers love this, the customers love this. Same thing for Spotify. Exactly same thing. Well, and again, Spotify you can use with Android or iOS. And then here this is what I already said. There's zero learning curve. No need to learn a new app. And in the end, I've been doing this for a long time. You guys have too. It's really clear to me and to you guys, I'm sure, convenience wins, right? So if it's easy for your dealer's customers to use the system that the dealer just installed, they're going to use it all the time. If they use it all the time, the customer's going to love the dealer, and then they get referrals, and then we all know that's the lifeline of this whole industry. To the point that CE Pro actually wrote a story about this. Juke meets the needs of a new generation as described by CE Pro. So it's basically talking about, this system is designed to be controlled the way that the new generation listens to their music. We have nice reviews in the market. We can share all this with you. So this is just good credibility. As far as what we're seeing is very, very, very common installs. Existing systems, I love this because, you guys have been doing this for so long and your dealers have too. The low-hanging fruit is when a dealer has been doing this for, 20 years, 30 years, 10 years, whatever. They go back to their old customers who have an old, an old distributed audio system. It could be as simple as an old receiver with an impedance matching control. It could be an old Nile system. It could be my favorite. What we hear the most is old Nuvo systems, which are out of business. Those customers were left hanging. So it's so easy to just go in, throw the old equipment out, and add a Juke, right? Very easy. Another area we're seeing a lot of interest is new construction. If you have dealers that work with builders, we all know that builders, they don't want complicated. If it was up to the builder, honestly, they wouldn't even do electronics, but they're forced to because their customers are asking for it. So to a builder, the easiest and less painful way they can get it done, the better. So when you tell the builder, or when your dealer tells the builder, we're just going to come in and home run all these ceiling speakers to one location. When you're done, sheetrock's up, trim's done, we're just going to slip in this one box. You can put it in a rack if you want. You don't have to put it in a rack if you don't want. Some builders don't want to dedicate a whole closet. So all you need is one product. You slip it in and you're done. And then the last one, which this one's kind of a surprise because, all our marketing is residential, but a lot of our dealers are going to small commercial, a lot of restaurants and office spaces and dentist office and gyms. And I mean, it works just as well, right? And I just talked to a dealer yesterday that did a dentist office. And, because of the multi-source, multi-zone, they have 5 or 6 different, areas that when the patient is sitting in their chair, they pick their song and it just works. The key benefits for your dealers, I call it a Trojan horse because of the form factor of one box. Your customer's going to buy the box anyways. So, maybe they were only thinking of doing 2 or 3 rooms. If they buy the box, it's really easy for the dealer to say, well, you have, depending on which one they buy, you have amplification for 6 to 8 pairs of speakers. And at that point, it's a really easy conversation. Have you thought of doing your master bath? Have you thought of doing the outdoor area? If you have a pool, you spend a lot of time in the garage. Maybe every kid wants one. So and we know in this industry that everyone wants the dealers want to sell as many speakers as they can because that's where the high margin is, right? The second is high value, and if you don't know the price already, I'm going to show it in the end. But it's very inexpensive, especially when you look at it on a per room basis. It's as low as $212 a room, and then just add speakers. So what that means is that there's just more doors to knock on, right? There's just more dealers out there who have more customers that can afford something to do music. Because there's a lot of customers who just, they would love to have music, but they just don't want to spend what it takes to with the current options to pipe music throughout the house. Number 3, the ease of use means less time needed for everyone in the chain. So less time for you guys to explain to your dealer, less time for the dealer to train their installation crew, and less time for your dealer to train the customers themselves. And then finally, system reliability. I mentioned this earlier. The system's been out for 4 or 5 years. It's proven itself. And the reason it's so reliable is it's all in the software. If you open up the box, there's not much in there. There's the amplifiers, there's the wireless communication, and so there's not much that can go wrong. There's no moving parts, first of all. So and then we all know what this means, right? You roll the truck one extra time, you just lost your profit on that job, which of course to the dealers, that's really important. Again, here's our app. Your dealer will download it for free, use it to set up. So now I'm just kind of recapping, right? You hand your customer their own phone with their favorite streaming app. Now I'll just talk about the actual products. There's only 3 SKUs, so it's a very simple line, sticking to the simple theme. The Juke 6 and the Juke 8 are our original products, and they actually look identical because the hardware is identical. The only difference is the Juke 6 has the amplification for 6 rooms, and the Juke 8 has the amplification for 8 rooms, and they're all stereo. So there's the pricing right there: $1,500 for a 6-room system, $1,700 for an 8-room system, and that just screams value. So this is a product that you use for a traditional multi-room, in ceiling and wall bookshelf speakers. For the 90% of the customers who all they want is background, this is the unit. It's 20 watts per channel RMS. It peaks at about 40, so it's plenty of power for background music, for what most customers want. Everything I just described is the case for all 3 SKUs. The 6 and the 8 have 2 USB connections in the back, so you can add stereo analog sources. Now, this is our premium product, and this is pretty new. We launched this. We announced it at CEDIA, and we actually launched it in January. This product was born from feedback from existing customers, existing dealers. And even when I joined, again, I met these guys 2 years ago. I saw their product. I'm like, this is really cool. There's a huge opportunity here. But you need one more product. And to their credit, they listened, and here it is, right? And the reason I said you need one more product, if you have the dealer and or customer who just wants a little more, this is it, right? So because of that, it's $2,500. It's a lot beefier. It's the amplification is a lot higher. It's 50 watts per channel RMS. It peaks at 100. So at peak, at stereo, you're talking about 200 watts per room. So very beefy. We've powered really high-end speakers, no problem. There's also an audio equalizer in every room, which is really cool because your dealer can tweak the room. So just more value add to the customer. The more things the dealer can do for the customer when they adjust the room through the EQ. And then finally, if you look at the back, you'll see this one has more ins and outs. So there's audio in and audio out via RCA. There's digital in and digital out via optical. So there's a lot of things you can use this for. If you want to add a subwoofer, you just take one of the outputs, and then it's configurable, so you can assign what room you want it to. So if you have that high-end room and you want to add a subwoofer, you can just assign what room that output is going to. You can also do if you need even more power, like a good example is if you have a big house with a big sprawling backyard and they want to do pro speakers, and I mean like a DJ setup or a band setup, you can you can feed a signal to a high-end amplifier, external amplifier. As far as the inputs, you can give it a TV digital signal, a TV audio signal. So there's just more you can do with this one. As far as connecting TV audio, this is a common question. It depends on what unit you have. Again, it's a lot easier with the Juke Plus. because of the actual physical connections. One trick that our dealers are having good luck with, if it's an iOS setup and your customer has a home theater that has Apple TV built in, or if your dealer's designing a system from scratch, if they provide the customer with a TV that has Apple TV built in, or a soundbar, or a receiver, which a lot of them do now, if any one of those components has Apple TV built in, when you're using Apple Music, you have the Juke rooms, right? So you have 6 or 8 rooms of the Juke rooms, and they're all named. Because you're using AirPlay 2, in that same Apple Music app, you're playing the music in the kitchen, in the bedroom, wherever. You can easily play that same music in that home theater room. That's it could be called family room or whatever, because they're all using the technology. So that's a cool little trick that our dealers are using. This is where I'll also tell you guys about, we have some new products coming pretty soon, and we'll confidential, but I'll tell you guys. But maybe 3 or 4 weeks you'll be ready. We're gonna come out with a dongle, for lack of better terms, that connects to the back of a TV, and that will allow you to get the TV source onto the Juke system wirelessly. So, the dealers, it's just a really cool accessory, because you can, once you get this on the home network, you can now feed, throw that sound in any room you want. And then the other product we're coming out with is a solution for Android, for the Android's lack of Chromecasts. So that's coming soon as well. So that's pretty much it. Here are the specs. All 3 units come with rack gears. You can put them in a rack if you want, or you can just sit on a table. That's what the back of the Juke 6 and 8 look like. All the upgrades for all units are over the air, and they're free. There's the Juke Plus. Again, the back looks, you will notice that this one is sleeker looking because it's newer. So this one launched in January, with the other products been around. Again, all updates over the air for free. Another really cool feature of Juke in general is you can stack these things, meaning you can have multiple Jukes in one house. And when I say stack, you don't have to physically put them together, because you don't have to physically wire them. But as long as all the Juke boxes are on the same network, and we always recommend hard wiring with an Ethernet to your routers. But as long as they're on the same network, you can have as many of these things as you want. So just picture a customer with a big sprawling house. You can put one Juke in the main area. You can put one Juke in the master bedroom suite. You can put one Juke in the pool house. It just goes on and on. So, and they find each other automatically, and it's really cool to the customer, because it doesn't matter what Juke box is controlling what room, right? In the end, they'll see, pool speakers, kitchen speakers, garage speakers, all in the same app. So it's pretty cool. And that is my presentation. Let me just get out of this.
No, very good, Costas. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
A few questions here. I guess this pertains to all AirPlay devices. So if a customer has a speaker, amplified speaker that's AirPlay, you can see that. Obviously, if it's through their iPhone, you can see that. So it doesn't have to be a Juke part number per se, right? It could be any AirPlay device, right?
Yeah, that's correct. And in my own house, obviously, I'm the Sonos guy, so I have tons of Sonos in my house. So it's pretty cool, because I have Juke rooms and I have Sonos rooms, and as far as the app's concerned, it's seamless. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, let me see here. Got a question. I know the app has changed over the last year or so. What do you consider to be the best, most unique feature of the Juke app? But I believe the Juke app is just for setup purposes, right?
It is, but this is a really good question. Knowing I had only half an hour, I didn't get into all the details of the app. But another nice feature of the app is there's a thing called grouping, right? So that's where you can set up group. Think of it like themes, right? So if you have an open floor plan with the living room, the kitchen, and the dining room are all wide open, so you're never going to play more than one song in there at once. So you can group those rooms. So instead of selecting those 3 rooms every time you turn the system on, you can name that group whatever you want. Living, whatever.
Right.
Living area, whatever. The other thing you can do is if you do want to use Bluetooth, you can group which rooms you want that to go to. So to answer the question, I think the coolest feature is the grouping, and I'll add a second one, maybe 1A, 1B. And the EQ is really cool. That was a new feature but it's only for the Juke Plus, but it's a really cool feature because, it's just a really cool way to make the room sound optimal.
Very good. And as far as after setup goes, we had a question here. You control the volume from whichever app. So like you're using your native app, you're using basic AirPlay. Once you get the setup through the Juke app, everything else is done through the native app, volume control, all that, because it's just strictly AirPlay.
That is correct. We do have volume controls for every zone in the Juke app, but think of that more like a balance, right? Because again, the open floor plan, living room, dining room, kitchen, if one room is louder than the other, you'll tweak it in the Juke app. So that way, when you're using your Apple Music app or your Spotify app, everything, it sounds is at the volume, the balance that you want.
Right. We've got a few more. We'll run through these real quick. There's 2 questions here, but they're both kind of similar. They're both pertaining to, I guess, Sonos. With a USB to analog adapter, we could add a Sonos port to combine the Juke with an existing Sonos user. Is there any disadvantages to that?
I mean, you can, but I mean, it's kind of redundant because now you know what I mean? You definitely can.
The point of this is so you don't have to use. Right.
Others. Yeah. The point of Juke is, I mean, obviously you can because it will take any source, right? But the whole point of this is to not have to add, have a bunch of boxes, to do. Right? It's one box. That's all you need, right? But you can. I mean, if you have a customer who already has it, that you can.
Roland asks, in addition to the zones of the Juke amp, can you also play through multiple devices such as Sonos speakers at the same time? Okay, so that you just answered that. Alex asks, which would you recommend for swapping out? This is a 4-zone from another brand that has 6 to 8 zones with 3 TV box inputs. So I guess you would.
So I would do
the Pro, right?
Yeah, the Juke Plus, yeah. So
Plus,
and on that note, on that note, the Juke Plus actually has 4 inputs, right? Because all 3 of the SKUs have 2 USBs, right? So with the Juke Plus, you have the 2 USBs where you can put an adapter, and then you have the digital optical input, and then the RCA analog input. So technically, there's 4 inputs on the Juke Plus.
We'll get one more in here. Thank you, everybody, for the questions. This is pertaining to Android. I know you kind of teased a new part coming out, but what about Android without AirPlay? So obviously that's something like that's coming. I think right now we probably want to gear this more towards Apple users, right, for iDevices.
Yeah. So what we're finding is, call the split 50-50 in general, right? Apple and Android, just in general, right? But for sure, in this industry, our customers skew heavily towards iPhone. I know that just from my past. So it's skewed more towards Apple. So it's way more than 50%. And then the people who do use Android, the vast majority of them use Spotify because Spotify is by far the number 1 streaming app. So an Android guy obviously is not going to use Apple Music. So an Android person, there's a very, very high probability of them using Spotify. So in the end, don't think of it like a 50-50 market. I would think of it like, I'd go as far as saying, 80 to 90% of your customers are covered. So, so that's for now. But again, we're coming out with a solution in a few weeks, which we'll tell you guys when it's ready.
Well, thank you so much, Gothis. We're right at 30 minutes. Really appreciate your time.
Okay,
I have
great.
the winner here for the Plus, so I'll reach out to you directly. Again,
Awesome.
Thank you so much. We're going to have this recorded, so you go back and review it. Again, we have these models in stock at all 21st Century locations, so get with your sales rep to start trying this out. We have Juke audio in our star points. We have multipliers for those, and we have a big promotion for them coming up here soon as well. So be on the lookout for that. But Costas, really appreciate your time, buddy.
Thank you, Mark. And I'll add one more thing. I have a meeting. I have a trip scheduled in August to come out with High Tech to visit some of your branches. So hopefully I'll see you guys in person soon.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Thanks very much. Let me know if you have any questions.
Take care.
We appreciate it very much.